I think kind of what you were saying before she called, like gaining their trust, because just to say, you know, oh, parents do better, voila, it's gonna fix it. Okay, most of these parents aren't gonna do better, so now we need to deal with what is another solution to make this work, and that's like that's getting back to the village. So I know we worked at a school together, and when I first came, I actually did substitute teaching. And the kids were like, oh, let's see how long it takes before she leaves. They're used to people coming in their life and leaving.
They do.
So they will not just attach to you, and they won't do what you say. But then, you know, like I told her, I was like, little girl, I'm not going anywhere. You know, so basically once they saw me coming back and they saw me start putting stuff up on the walls and, you know, having conversations with them, then it was like, oh, wow. So then, you know, they see me taking 40 of the 8th graders on a black college tour. They saw Miss Hope take them on a black college tour. And then that's when you have conversations with them. They saw me, instead of going in the teacher's lounge eating, coming into their place and sitting down with them and asking them what they did on the weekends. They would talk to us about stuff that they would never even tell their parents. And then you have the parents that come in and say, oh, my baby would never do that. But how do you know? Your child is at school for almost 8-9 hours of the day.
Yeah.
So I'm with your child probably more than you are.
Right.
I've seen the little boy come right out of a hood, a young man who's looked in his hood as a gangster or, you know, a bad butt. And I've seen the little boy come right out of it because they believed in me and they trusted me. And as a result, I built that relationship. Sometimes I didn't even have to say anything. It was just the way that I looked at them, and they knew that I was disappointed, and it broke their heart. They were upset, and they did anything to get back in my grace. The same thing can happen at home. You have to build that relationship. You cannot lash out at them, beat them down, beat them down, beat them down. Then all of a sudden you have timid Timmy who doesn't talk to anybody. He got some, you know, yellow pants on.
Just piggybacking off what you all said, just building that relationship with some of these children and just giving them an outlet to let them know that, you know, hey, someone does care about you. And once you build that relationship, those kids will do pretty much anything that you ask of them, and they will give you the respect that you deserve.
Yeah.
And I can speak from that person.
There's a caller.
Oh, go ahead. You're on with Control Chaos.
Hey, Don, this Pastor again. I wanted to take a quick second to talk about the video games and the music and those things that are having an impact.
Absolutely,
I know we only have a few minutes, but if you guys can just hit on that portion of the violence that's in these games and the foolishness that's in these rap lyrics, how that stuff is affecting our kids as well.
Okay.
Definitely.
I think kind of going on that, and it goes to one of our earlier callers that was just saying how the kids are raising each other. So if you have a 12-year-old raising a 7-year-old, 5-year-old, whatever, then they don't know how to be a parent.
Yeah,
so what are they doing? They're turning on the TV. They're, you know, here's this game. And another one of our callers stated that, you know, the parents don't hardly see the kids. So, you know, this parent is off at work. This kid is raising this kid. She said that she gives her child everything that he wants. The problem is we're giving these children so much. They're not earning anything. They're not appreciating it. You just feel like, well, because I'm not around, then I'm going to give you this in the meantime. However, they're playing these games. They're being raised by Wii's and PlayStations. Take their little butts outside.
Right. And
then they're watching these shows. There's so many reality shows. It's ridiculous. And not even that. Like, I see some of the cartoons on that my son watches, and they're very inappropriate. They're very much directed to adults. So it's just like, get your kids from in front of the TV.
Right.
Like, I know you have to sacrifice things, and I know you have to work and all that kind of stuff, but that one thing you should not sacrifice is your child.
Yeah. I remember as a young mom, I had 2 boys, and I had to quit a job at night because I would come home one day earlier than I normally did, and my gangway is just full of girls. And I felt that that was going to be problematic. So I used to leave Blewett School and go to a hotel and work, but work both jobs for 8 hours. I had to quit the hotel. And I had to make sacrifices so that they still had everything, but I had to make sure that my home was safe, that I didn't have a grandbaby that early, that I didn't, nobody claimed rape. Right. It spanned the gamut, but I had to make the decision to quit. Right. So you have to do things in your life that are sacrifices.
And to speak on what the pastor had called in about the music, I don't think people really understand how powerful music is and how powerful it affects our children and even adults. I mean, music is a very powerful period, but our children are being so influenced from these videos, from these rap lyrics, and it comes out, whatever you put in to your mind, your body, your soul, whether it be food, the music you listen to, eventually it's going to come out. And we are seeing what they're putting into themselves.
Well, and the problem, the problem moreover than just the music is the lack of structure and communication and relationships aside of the music. So if I'm raising my child, you know, and he's doing great in school, and you know he has that strong foundation, and he knows like the respect factor, and he wants to listen to some of this music where he still can say, well, I understand this is right and this is wrong and they shouldn't be saying this, or you know, whatever. When they can kind of distinguish what's right and wrong, not to say like, oh, go ahead and let them listen to it, you have a better chance than they don't see you, you know, they don't hear from you, they're getting raised by a 12-year-old, or they're raising themselves, then they listen to this music. Then again, now the village is not raising your child, you not raising your child, the street is raising your child, the TV is raising your child, Jay-Z is raising your child, Lil Weezy is raising your child. So it gets back into, if that parent is not going to be in that life, that's fine, but what can we do? Get associated with big brothers, big sisters, go into these schools. Because, again, we always say, if you are not part of some sort of solution, you're part of the problem. Let's team up with Hope and go into these schools and, you know, get some kids that we can mentor, that we can call, like whatever it is. If they're not getting it at home, they have to get it from somewhere. We have to stop just only focusing on ourselves and our kids and reach out to other kids, because some of these kids are going through it.
Yes, they are.
Like some stuff that you would never even imagine.
You have no idea.
I went to school in Kirkwood, so when I came and worked in the inner city school and talked with one baby who sat there and watched her mom and dad get their heads blown off, and then grandma was the only person she had, and she got killed, and she ran the streets all night because her auntie was turning tricks, and she's sleeping in class. And then you got a teacher that doesn't take the time to want to know, like, well, what's wrong with you, baby? Why are you asleep? But, you know, you calling her names. You lazy, you sleepy, you don't want to do your work. Not thinking to ask and build a relationship with this little girl to know that she been walking the streets all night. Yep. It's some kids out here that got real stuff going on. Yeah, so either we're going to take the time to sit and deal with them and reach out to them, or for me, you already know me, you either got a solution, a suggestion, or shut the F up talking about them.
Well, not so much that for me, but either you have to contribute or you cannot complain.
That's the same thing, but that's the nice version.
Absolutely. I'm a nice lady.
Let's do our final thoughts.